Hello and welcome to the Local Losers YouTube channel. I'm Ronnie. Today we're working on this, I don't know what you can see an engine. This is my 1999 Nissan Skyline GTT. It's got an RB26 swap, and RBs are kind of known for oiling issues. What we're going to do today is try to help out with that. We have this over here, oil cooler. So we're going to get this guy installed. We also have some coilovers. The front of the car looks good, like I'm happy with the fitment, but the rear of the car needs to come down a little bit. First thing we're going to have to do is get this car up on the lift, and to do that we have to deal with this giant body kit that's on the car. It has a Urus Monkey Magic kit. I already have the front bumper off, which will be going on and off quite a bit throughout this process so we can get the oil cooler mounted down here. But now I got to take the side skirts off. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out, and then we'll get this thing in the air and get started. All right, we got the car on the lift. Go ahead and go up. We're going to start with the coilovers, which are in that box right there. Open those up, get those on. We have a little bit of a predicament, and I'll talk about that once we get this thing up in the air. And now we can see the coilover right here. This car has some teen coilovers, and the reason we're replacing them is because they're not height adjustable here. Litz coilovers. So that's one. What we're going to do is I'm going to finish opening these. Then we're going to get the coilovers off. We'll get these, kind of measure size, get them close to the same. And then we'll install them, see where the car sits, and then we'll adjust height from there. The rear should be really close to where we want it if we adjust them to match the rear coilovers. The fronts, like I said, the front should be close. The rears, we're trying to go down about half an inch. We'll see. We'll lower it. We'll see where it's at. Kind of try to get the car to settle. Go from there. So this is our first nut we're going to take off right here. This is our lower control arm bolt. And then we got to do the top, and this guy should snake out that direction. Okay. Then we got two 14s up here. Make sure our nut, make sure it fits our bolt here, and it does. Right, there she is. Boom. It's an old teen. Type HA, whatever that means. So, Teen's a good brand. I had them on my STI. Really liked them. Never had any issues. But, you know, we're going with these guys. So we need to extend this down to match this one. So we'll go ahead and bring these up here. Make a little room. I have these coilover wrenches. If you guys need a set, they'll be down in the description. This part's hard because we're not on the car. Let's clamp this thing. And this is the problem right here. This is why we're switching to this coilover. It's because this lower mount isn't threaded. This shock has a threaded body, and we can just thread this down, make this thing longer. think we'll try that right there. Go ahead and run this collar down, like so. We're not going to tighten it up because we're just, you know, basically test fitting still at this point. So we're going ahead and remove this rear seat. It appears that the coilovers mounts are somewhere back here. We got to find them. So they're right here, pretty easy to get to. Yeah. Yep, 12. So we'll get shallow 12s. We'll get in here, there's 2 of them. I thought this car might have had a roll cage, but I think maybe the seat just came out of a car with a roll cage. It's interesting. This is really beat up back here. I wonder if it never had a seat until they went to sell it or something. That's the worst part about buying a car from Japan. So you just have no idea the history of the car. Like you just, no clue about anything. All right, so we went ahead, got those done up there. Now we're gonna take this one off. It's a 17. Hopefully on both sides, yep. Get that off, there's our nut. Get our bolt out here. Slide. There it is, boom. Not terrible. So let's check lengths. This is a little taller, and we want to go shorter, so we'll probably go down 2 inches from where it's at. It's a little dirty, the threads, so we're going to go ahead and hit them with some brake clean. Good to go. Okay, I think we did the other ones. What we're going to do is I'm going to measure. Okay. Get in the hole. All right, so we got the coilovers on, adjusted the rear height a little. We're setting it down for the first time to see what it looks like. Okay, okay. Front looks good. I think it's a little taller than what it was. I think so, but we're also not like settled. Yeah, I think the front height is money. Might go up a touch over here. I don't know if, yeah, they're not quite the same. So go up a little bit on that side. This side's good. The rear, definitely be going down some more. Yeah, I think about 1/2 inch down. If we can get this lip to kind of line up with this, that'd be perfect. So we got the height all set. We'll show you guys that in a second. I just temporarily put the bumper back on. We're trying to figure out where to mount this cooler. show you what I'm thinking. I made a small bracket here. It can hold the cooler like so. So I want it to be level-ish. It touches everything, which is not great, but we can move some stuff to make it okay, hopefully. And if it's rigid enough, it won't move and we won't have any issues, which is what my plan is to make it very rigid. So here's the problem. It's touching the intercooler here. It's touching the bumper up here. Also, the bumper's not tight. Let's tighten up the bumper and see what happens. I can't reach it because I lifted the... Okay, so we're in a decent position. Probably not exactly where it's going to go. But what I want to do is get this line on-ish. I just want to make sure that it's going to work because I want to pick this guy up. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. I just want to make sure that it wasn't going to be touching here and we can keep it just off from touching, which is perfect. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to drill from the bottom up through, and then we'll have a long bolt with a nut and we'll make some kind of spacer to go there. And that'll hold it. And this thing's gonna be super stout like that. It'll be plenty stout. And then we're also going to build a bracket that'll bolt over here to the body and then down to there. So it'll like come off, probably down and then forward kind of thing. And that should hold it pretty good. Okay. We'll mock up. It's pretty good. So here's our concept. Welded up this little bracket. I don't have any nuts yet. We got to go get some lock nuts. Okay, so we got the oil cooler mounted. Got our bolts here, our bracket here, and then finished up this bracket. It looks like it just has these little 2 tack welds, but it's completely welded on the backside. That's done. I went ahead and got my filter mounted. This is where I decided to put it. I don't know how I feel about it. It's probably not the best place, but when we stick the car to full lock, she don't rub. There's plenty of room. So I think it's okay. I mean, it's closer to hitting this than the filter. So I think we'll be okay. This line's gonna be out of the way. It's gonna be here. So we really shouldn't have any issues with hitting the stuff. So that's good. What we gotta do now is make these lines. I ordered fittings, but I ordered the wrong ones because I'm an idiot. So these are for PTFE lines, and we need whatever this is. So I have to wait on those, but while we're waiting, we can still work on designing what we need going on here. So we're gonna make all these a little long, and we're gonna cut them, we're gonna mark them, cut them, and then when the new fittings get here later today, we'll be able to finish it up. We also need to put on our adapter that goes to the engine. I'm kind of hemming and hawing. I don't know the right term right now. But I got to put this on, but I also need my oil temp and oil pressure sensor to be mounted as well for the ECU. And I can move all that stuff to our new fitting here, or I can leave it where it is and just put this on. So it'll be block, sandwich plate, this thing out to the cooler and then to the filter. So I think that's what I'm gonna do because I wanna be lazy and not rewire that stuff, because I have an oil pressure gauge, I have an oil temperature gauge, and then I'm supplying both of those also to the ECU. So there's a total of 3 sensors that are plugged in to the current sandwich plate. I guess 2, because we got rid of the oil pressure sensor because it was bad. Hold on. Okay, so this is how this is going to be. Probably not ideal, it being on that, but it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and mark this guy. We're going to make him a little long, not much. You have to put tape on it. And the point of the tape is to keep it from fraying and getting crazy, which it definitely will do. Just make a couple wraps because you're going to end up slipping your fitting over this tape. This tape will stay. The only kind of issue that you'll have is towards the end, it's going to get a little funky. So we have to trim that up with some pliers. And then you need to make sure you clean it out because you don't want this getting in your oil, obviously, or your fuel line, whatever you're making this for. So this will go like so. Boom. Nice and good. So that's that one. So we're learning why people do oil filter relocations on these cars, because it is terrible. Worst car ever to do an oil change. Down in the belly of this engine, and it's very freaking tight on here. They probably didn't lube the O-ring when they put this on, which makes it super hard to do. We're getting there. It's coming off now. See? Now we'll put it on. All right, so we got that adapter in there. Now we're gonna go back up. We're gonna take one of these two hoses off and we're gonna put the 90 on there. We probably should have started there with 90s, but oh well. So we got our fittings. They're black because that's all I could find. I couldn't find the red ones. Now, I got a trick for you guys. A lot of people don't know these are reverse thread, so you can thread them on. It's not easy. It's still a pain in the dick, but it is possible. Pain. These are notorious. All right, I got two done. Here's the other one. We're gonna get these on where they go, and then we'll work on the last one. So I'm getting this fitting on this cooler. I'm not getting it tight yet. I'm just getting it on. We gotta slide it down a ways. Ugh. And that's why we do this. Because, man, without this, I don't know how people change the oil on these things. This is horrid. Back there, that's the adapter. I can get it to focus in on that. Anyways, that's the adapter. Right here is the filter housing, and the filter lines come up to the cooler, and there's the cooler. So what you want to do when you're putting one of these in, when you get to this point, you're going to unhook one of your lines, use a funnel, and fill that oil cooler with oil. That way the engine doesn't run dry. It has somewhere to pull oil from. If you don't do that, I'm not want to say you're going to have a bad time, but you might have a bad time. So make sure you do that. We got to get this intercooler piping back on before we fire it up. Oil cooler's done. It's mounted up. I just filled it up. We're about to fire this thing up and see what it does. Fingers crossed, we don't have any leaks. Well, I fired it up and you guys didn't get to hear it. But there it is. We'll let it run for a couple minutes. Make sure there's no oil leaks. I don't see anything, which is good. It's got oil pressure. If it didn't, the ECU would turn it off. So that's also nice. I love this computer. And we can see right here on our factory pressure gauge that it's got oil pressure. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. I gotta sand the bumper a little bit. That's pretty boring and sucks butt, so I'm just gonna do that off camera. There it is. Gonna take it for a drive. Should be ready to go drifting now. A little bit scared.